Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Emma. Good morning, everybody, and
Morning, everybody.
welcome again to another HubSpot Masterclass. Today, we are looking at getting the most out of live chat and chatbots. It's an underutilized tool is probably the right phrase for it, isn't it, Emma?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of people kind of put it up there, but don't get the most out of it, really.
Exactly. It helps convert more of your website traffic, okay, but also helps you engage with your visitors, your customers at real time as well.
Mm.
The good thing about this as well is that it is designed for all HubSpot users,
Yeah.
marketers, salespeople, customer service. They will all see a benefit of live chat and
Mm.
chatbots. Okay, so we're going to be discussing today best practices. Okay, the differences between the two, pros and cons of both. Okay, um, where to use them, where not to use them, but also the future as well of it, because HubSpot is evolving all the time, um,
Definitely.
and making lots and lots of changes. It's important to keep a look at what the future holds for us as well. So um, as always, with our webinars in the mornings, we aim to finish at about 11 o'clock today. So if you've got any questions as we go along through today, as Emma goes through things, just feel free, put them in the chat. Okay, we'll try and answer as we go. If we don't get round to them, we're going to stick around for a little bit afterwards anyway, just to cover everything and make sure no one's got any outstanding questions, so to speak. Okay. Um, I want to check first of all whether the chat is live. So I don't know whether someone that's here just wants to pop a message on to make sure that we're live and running.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of
Had a couple
people.
coming through. That looks like it's all working as it should be.
Great, Jay,
Thanks,
constantly
Sky.
thank you very much. Okay. So as always with um, these webinars, I'd just like to start before I hand over to Emma, just with a little bit of a background on JDR. It's not a huge overview, but I think so. If you've attended some of our webinars before, I always start this way. But if you're new, you might not know who JDR are. Okay, so it's really good just to get a bit of an insight into us as a business. Okay, as you can see, we are a marketing agency. Okay, our background is in business coaching. That's how we started 20 years ago now. Okay, and we've been using HubSpot for I've been using it every day for probably about the last 12 years now, as our kind of CRM system and marketing and sales system as well. And we've been partners with them for about 10 years now as well. Today, we're one of their elite HubSpot partners, where we help in a number of different ways, providing marketing services. We've developed a really successful inbound marketing system as well. Okay. And there's three ways in which we help our clients. First one, a lot of you might be familiar with this one and might be coming from this, is that we help businesses get set up with HubSpot. When you purchase a HubSpot subscription, one of the prerequisites, particularly if you purchase a professional level subscription, is you have to have some form of onboarding. Okay, JDR as an onboarding partner will help along the way. If you've got access to our library of videos, I'm sure you'll recognize Emma's face from going through all the videos from there as well. So we help with that. We also help for existing HubSpot users. So if you potentially are using it, maybe feel that you're not getting the most out of it as well, we can help with that. Emma's just done a great workshop with a client recently as
Mm.
well. They've been using HubSpot for a little while now, I think, hadn't they?
Yeah, yeah, a good few years.
So it's it's never too late to learn effectively and get the most out of it.
100%.
And the other thing, and this is probably our like day-to-day stuff. So primarily as a business, we are a marketing agency, as I just mentioned. So we provide inbound marketing services. We are an outsourced marketing department for small to medium-sized businesses. Okay, not only do we help create your strategy, but we've got the resources in-house to help execute it. Okay, and we use HubSpot to underpin the whole exercise as well. Okay, so I'll just flip back to this one actually. So if you have a need, you know, if you want a conversation to discuss your HubSpot account, help setting it up, okay, or any inbound marketing services, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand over to Emma in just a sec. I'm going to put a link to my diary on, okay, which basically you can, I've edited it so it's available now all up until July, okay, because I know how busy people get, okay. As you can see, you can't actually book until middle of next week, so that's how busy I am, okay. But I know with the summer coming up, holidays, that kind of thing, so I've opened it up until the end of July, so feel free to book a call in my diary and we'll have a conversation about how we can help. All right, so I'm going to do that now. Let me just get rid of it. So pop that in the chat. I'm going to stop the share.
Yeah, I will take it over whilst you are doing that, if that's all right, Andy.
No problem.
Great. So as Andy kind of mentioned at the start there, chatbots are part of all of the different hubs on HubSpot. You can even do it if you have the free version of HubSpot, although obviously there are, you know, some limitations with that, as there often is. Nothing's really free, is it? But you are able, whichever version of HubSpot you have, to do various different things through the chatbots, which makes this a great tool for anybody who's using HubSpot, really. So the first thing we need to kind of clarify and understand really is the difference between a chatbot and a live chat. You can do both of these different types of things within the same tool in HubSpot. It's really important to understand the differences between them. So a chatbot essentially runs independently. It gathers information. You don't need that human input on it. Whereas a live chat has to be monitored. There's an element of the human interaction there. You have to have a person from your company on that live chat talking to people. Whereas the bot, you don't need an actual real human, I guess, talking to people. Now, both of these systems can work well in different ways and in different types of businesses, but there are some kind of pros and cons of both. Which one of these you go for will be wholly dependent on the type of business that you're in, how you're wanting to use this chatbot or live chat and that kind of thing. So for a chatbot, the really positive things about this is that it doesn't need that staff monitoring. So we work with a lot of very small businesses who are just not going to have the capacity to sit all day waiting for a message to come through on the live chat. So that's a massive pro of it. We tend to see the chatbot almost as an extension of a form, but one that people prefer to interact with. Essentially, the way to look at the chatbots is it's gathering all the information a form would, but in a more conversational way. There are also versions of HubSpot where once it's done the qualification for you, it's asked them a certain set of questions that you can then pass it over to a human. We're going to go in a bit later on how to use that really effectively. So those are the positives of a chatbot.
Just while I add, before you go into the cons
of course,
of that, I effectively have managed our chatbot for good 8-10 years now, and as Emma will testify, I am in meetings pretty much all day. Okay, all day, every day. I am not sitting on live chat waiting for people to respond. What I do is we set it up so that we can gather information, and from a sales perspective, I can just follow up everybody when I've got the time to do so. Ultimately, so it's like a lead gen tool. That's how I've used it for many years now, and it works really well.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think if you've not got that capacity where you've got, you know, a multi-person sales team or service team of people that can be sat there and you'd be getting high volumes, that's a great way of using this chatbot really effectively and getting a lot of leads from it. Now, the slight downside of it is that customers can sometimes get frustrated if they click on it and are expecting a live chat. There are ways to mitigate that, which we're going to go into later, but you will get some people that talk to that chatbot in quite an angry way. Some of the messages I've seen to chatbots have not been particularly pleasant. So it can happen that people can get a little bit frustrated. And I'm sure some of you have experienced that yourselves when interacting with bots as well. It's also currently got fairly limited interactivity. Right now, it's not got kind of AI functionality where it feels like you're actually talking to someone. It is just like a set of questions, which again can lead to some of this frustration. I do think this is going to change over time, and we'll come into that a little bit more. But right now, the interactivity is a little more limited on the bots. Looking at live chat, this can be a great option. It is a really quick and easy interaction for customers. If they can get hold of you just like that and you are there, it can be really, really powerful and means you can immediately answer questions and is really going to help convert people, answer questions quickly, deliver for people as quickly as you possibly can. The downside of that, though, is that to be able to provide that good customer experience, you have to have somebody monitoring it, because it can lead to frustration if there's nobody available and it's set up as if it's a live chat, but then there's nobody there and it just says, sorry, we're not online right now. So that's just worth being aware of. Again, this can work really well, and I've seen businesses do amazing things with actual live chat. HubSpot are a great example. If you go on the live chat with HubSpot, they are all over it and it works really well. But I would say you need to have that person whose responsibility it is to get back to people quite quickly on it.
Statistically as well, customers are 5 times more likely to make a purchase on a website if they when they use live chat as
Which
well.
is a massive number, isn't it? 5 times more likely.
And 60% of visitors, these are some stats I was reading the other
Mm.
day, are more likely to return to a website if they have the ability to have live chat as
Live
well.
chat with someone. Yeah. I imagine this is going to be particularly good if you're like an e-commerce business or something like that as well. Like if you've got people that are wanting to make a purchase then and there, but have some questions, the easier you can make it for them to get through to you, the
Definitely.
better that is going to be. So let's jump into HubSpot and I'll show you how we actually set up one of these live chats. So my HubSpot has moved to the new navigation down the left hand side here. So this is now under automations and then chat flows.
I would
On
say,
the
just before you dive in, Emma, is that on that navigation, is that anyone that's watching today, change over now. It's going
get
to
used
happen.
to it, yeah,
You will be forced on May the 28th. So you've got what, two
couple of
weeks
weeks.
of the old navigation. So what I would recommend everyone is move over now, if you've
Start
already
getting
done
used
so,
to it,
to
yeah.
get used to it, rather than just coming in one day in a couple of weeks and being shocked and having to work your
Forced
way
to have
around
it
it.
different. Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that. There are some bits that are a little bit trickier to find on the new navigation, but once you get used to it, kind of understand how it's categorizing things, it's usable.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, this one is going to be under automations and then chat flows, and that will take you to this page. And you're then going to go ahead and create a chat flow. Now, you can set these up to run on your Facebook Messenger. On that, I'm going to do a website one for now. You're going to want to choose an inbox for it to go into. You have one just default set up. That's just where it's going to store all of these for you. And then you're going to choose what type of chat flow you want. So you can set this up as a straight live chat, link to a knowledge base, and then it's got some specific kind of template ones as well. I always like to start from scratch, especially when I'm kind of demoing things, just so I can show you everything that it does. If I hit create there, I then get brought into my builder. So this builder is where I'm going to go in and add all of my various different actions. So if any of you have built workflows before, this looks quite similar. It's fairly intuitive. If you want it to send a message, tell it to send a message. If you want it to ask a question, tell it to ask a question. Now, some of these things on here are from more advanced versions of HubSpot. On the free version of HubSpot, really, you can just do these very simple, send a message, ask a question, and pass it on to somebody. The if-then branches, setting properties, creating tickets, that kind of thing, any automations are for the more professional levels of HubSpot, so Marketing Pro, Sales Pro, Service Pro. However, you can still do quite a lot just on the free version. So you choose your question, you can do a custom one or a frequently used one. So if I go onto a custom one, I ask a question. And then if I want to set up some quick replies for my visitors, I can do that here, give them the option to say yes or no. Or if I want them to be able to just free text answer my question, I can do that as well here. So I can add all my actions, and I can choose at the end to send that to a team member if I want to. So if I want to then pass this through to a live chat at the end, this is how I would do it. So assign it to the contact owner, or if not, I'm going to send it through to Andy to take it over, essentially. I can then go in and target where I want my chat flow to show up. So I can choose specific website pages or specific visitor behavior to target based on. I can choose what it looks like, change the little photo to something a little bit more bespoke, change the name, and then choose how you want it to look on your website. Do you want the welcome message? Do you just want the little widget? Or do you want to do it show what shows the message and then opens it up when a specific trigger is met, essentially. I tend to recommend on mobile that you only show the launcher, just because on a phone screen, having this full welcome message takes up an awful lot of the screen, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. And then you've got some kind of general settings here to have a delay with the bot kind of typing when you want to reset it, and any error messages as well there. So once you've done all of that, you literally just toggle it on like this. As long as you've got the HubSpot tracking code on your website, that will automatically put it on your website. So there's no additional code or anything like that that you need to do to add it on. So really nice and simple. So that's kind of the basic building blocks of how you would go in and set up a chatbot or set up a live chat. What we really want to do now is start running through some kind of best practices, things to think about when you're doing this, maybe for the first time, or if you're looking at reviewing your chatbots. So the first thing you can do is, if you have Service Hub Professional, you can set up what we call a knowledge base and link your live chat to this. So I'm sure you will have interacted with things like this on the internet loads of times, where, I don't know, if you've got a problem with your computer, you go onto Dell and you type in the problem, maybe into a chat, and it pops up some articles automatically. HubSpot do this themselves as well. If you go onto their live chat now, they try and send you to their knowledge base and their support articles first. So this is kind of our knowledge base, and we could link this up to a chat so that if somebody asks a question on how do I connect HubSpot to Outlook, the chat will go, I found this helpful article that I think will be great for you, and deliver that to the visitor.
Online banks do this a lot as well.
Yeah, yeah,
lots of people have questions now.
Yeah, if you find that you're getting the same questions from customers over and over, a knowledge base like this is a great way of dealing with the simple questions easily and letting your service or your sales team just deal with the ones that are a little bit more complicated and need that human interaction. So allowing visitors to self-serve is going to save you a load of time, give them a great experience, and just really make you look quite professional. This is something that in the past was something that only big businesses were able to do, really. But with the Service Hub Professional, it's not a massively expensive tool now. So with that module, having access to this knowledge base and linking that into a live chat can make you look really, really professional there. The other thing that I would really recommend doing with your chatbots is really personalizing them and adding some logic. Now, this kind of logic is only available on the Marketing Hub Professional version, but what this essentially allows you to do is to ask people the right questions based on the answers that they've given you, and then ask them different follow-up questions that are more relevant to them, or to pass them to a human for only certain things. So for instance, you might ask a question like, what are you contacting us regarding? If it's a purchasing product, maybe you want to send them straight through to a sales rep to speak to them, or maybe you want to ask them a couple more questions to understand first. Maybe if it's an issue with the product, you want to send them through to your customer service team, that sort of thing. So there's loads and loads of different things that you can do here to really customize the routes that people go down with the chatbot, and kind of how you then interact with them. This is going to really help you get more out of your chatbots as well, get better qualified people coming through from it, and give them a better customer experience as well. Now, it is very easy with these chatbots to fall down a bit of a rabbit hole and be like, great, I'm going to qualify these people to the ends of the earth. You want to be careful not to ask too many questions. The more endless questions that your chatbot is asking, the more frustrated your prospects are going to get with it. So do just get the basics that you need from them, and then either say you'll get back to them or say that you'll pass them on. Nobody wants to answer 30 questions only to say, thanks, we'll get back to you in 3 working days. You just need to be conscious of how much time you're asking people to put in when interacting with your chatbot. I would also say to always ask for their email and their contact details first, and then get them to describe their problem. There's nothing more annoying than if you try to get them to describe their problem first and then they don't give you their email. You've got somebody that's saying, yes, I'd like a quote for XYZ, but you have no way of properly contacting them. So always, always get that email address first so that you can get back in touch with them. It will make your life so much easier. You also want to get them to describe their problem as early as possible. When people are interacting with a chatbot, they're doing it because they want to say something. Don't leave it right till the very end of it to ask them what they want. Do that as soon as possible once you've got their kind of email. And then you can ask them further qualifying questions once they've had their chance to speak almost. So yeah, that's another great way of just making sure that that frustration level is really as low as it possibly can be there.
Absolutely.
Another kind of top tip that we would really, really recommend here is to have different chatbots in different places, and really target the chatbot based on where somebody is. HubSpot are the absolute masters of this. When I was prepping for this webinar this week, I was kind of clicking around the HubSpot website to see how they're using them. And every different page I went on, I was getting a different chatbot. So if I go on the pricing page, they immediately pop up with a very friendly looking image here, asking me if I need help choosing a plan, trying to put me through to a person. They're immediately qualifying whether I just want to chat or whether I've got a specific query about pricing. So for me, as somebody potentially looking at buying HubSpot because I'm on the pricing page, this is such a kind of in my face, grab my attention way of being like, yes, I want to talk to someone right now. I'm going to do that rather than giving me the chance to go away and think about it. So this works really, really well. Similarly, if I went on to the HubSpot article around knowledge bases, for instance, they came up with, do you want to learn more about HubSpot's customer service tools? I can guarantee they'll have a different chatbot if I went on something that was a marketing tool or something that was a sales tool. So they've really tailored these chatbots to the pages that I'm on. And that's going to get a much better response from me as a customer because the chatbot is talking directly to the thing that I am looking at right then and there. I think what we see with a lot of people is that they just have one generic chatbot that they put on their website that just asks for details. And that can work great and you can get a lot of conversions and things from that. But if you're really wanting to take this a step up, this is a great way of doing it, really tailoring the chatbot to specific pages, product lines, that kind of thing.
Haley's just asked, by the way, Emma.
Yeah.
So they have a trade website platform and a retail platform. Can we use different bots?
You should be able to, Haley. Yes, it's a little bit more complicated. I know, Haley, and I know the website you're talking about. It's a little bit more complicated because your website platforms have 2 different subdomains, but it should be possible because you can target based on a domain. So yes, you should be able to have a different chatbot for your trade customers as for your retail ones, just because that domain is different. Haley, happy to jump on a call with you separately about that as well to see how we could make that work for you. But I think that's a great example of having the different chatbots in different places. If you've got kind of 2 sides to the business, that's a really good way of doing it there.
Definitely. And it's the different sides as well, isn't it? So like someone that's customer service related question it's someone who's a customer does not want to be put through to a sales rep to talk about pricing. Okay.
That's exactly it.
And that's the point of it, is that tailoring the information that they receive based on their behavior. And that's the theme of HubSpot. That's what we talked about in our last webinar as well. It's with automations, with workflows through emails, you tailor the content they receive. Live chat is no different. You know? And that's the way it's going ultimately, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's what customers expect now. You expect to be able to go on a website and for that website to know what you want and deliver it to you.
Mm.
And the more you can use tools like HubSpot to do that, the better, really. The other thing that is really, really important is choosing the right kind of look and feel, greeting and tone for your chatbot. So I've got a couple of different examples here of different ones. The HubSpot one is this weird little bird creature, I want to say, asking me a very specific question. This
More like
one
a robot.
here, yeah,
Like a
maybe a
robot.
robot bird.
Yeah, don't
Um,
know.
this one here is much more specific. It's more of a product focused one. It's trying to use it almost as a call to action to get me to take a specific action there. And this one is a much more generic one, kind of introducing itself and just asking how it can help. So there's different kind of tones and different ways of doing this. You really want to personalize this to your ideal customer, to the people you're talking to. If you're working in a very corporate space, you probably aren't going to do a "Hi, I'm Alice" bot. You're probably going to be a little bit more formal with it. So really customize that greeting to how your customers would want you to talk, but also use it to mold it so that you get the people that you want to be interacting with that chatbot in the right way. So this one, for instance, is really good because if HubSpot only want me to really click on this chatbot and interact if I want to know more about the customer service tools. So they're kind of qualifying out anybody that they don't want to talk to there by asking the right question. One like this is a little bit more generic. It's going to pull through everybody with all kinds of different questions. So really think about how you want people to be interacting with the chatbot. I would also say that if it isn't a live chat, I would strongly recommend not using a human face on the chatbot. Even if it is a member of your team, if they are not going to speak to that member of the team, don't put their face on it. The clearer that you can make it that they are going to be talking to a bot, if that is the route you're going down, there's going to be less frustration because you're setting those expectations with people right from the start.
Definitely. I'm quite
Um,
sure all of us have, when live chat was first starting out, that we thought we were talking to a human,
yeah,
and we realized quite quickly that we're not.
yeah,
And that's what starts the frustration.
yeah,
It's that
that's exactly it.
people see an image of a person, they naturally assume that they're talking to a person.
Yeah, yeah. um it's all in the wording as well, like
Yeah,
this one where it's kind of introduces itself as Alice bot there is quite clear at this is a bot you are speaking to. If that's not what you want, pick up the phone and speak to us instead, kind of thing. Like there's always different routes for people. Make sure that the people you're getting through on the chat bots are the people that you want on there, really. Okay, so we've touched on this a little bit kind of as we've been going through here, but where chatbots are now and where we think chatbots are going to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, I think there's going to be a lot of changes in this sense. So AI is everything. It's the buzzword right now across industries and especially at HubSpot. HubSpot bringing out so many AI tools to really support with things. Right now, there's nothing officially on the roadmap, as far as we are aware, around AI chatbots. However, there are developers that are already using HubSpot's API and ChatGPT's kind of API thing to custom build fully AI chatbots within HubSpot. This, I think, is the direction that things will go down. You will always want some element of control over that. The way I personally see that the AI chatbots would work really well is if you had a really great knowledge base with loads and loads of content on there that was specific to you, specific to your brand, and the AI was able to pull bits out of that knowledge base to really customize that to your brand experience. The last thing you'd want is a fully AI thing answering someone and sending them over to another competitor's website or something like that. So that's kind of the direction that we think these are going to go. Like we say, there's nothing officially on the roadmap yet, but I would be very surprised if there isn't some element of AI added into chatbot experiences in the coming months and years, really. Um,
Neville's asked a question before we move on.
yeah, of course.
Do you have any tips about how to know persons have started a chat? All notifications are on, but since we moved from talk to, the notifications are imperceptible. What's that word?
Yeah, so I actually get this quite a lot with people using the HubSpot chat, thing that you need to make sure you do is to go into your notification settings and make sure that you set up the email notifications for unassigned chats. It's then really important that at the bottom of your chat flow, let me just create one. Oh, in fact, I will. Goodness. Let me cancel out of this one and edit the one I was making earlier. It's really important that at the bottom of the chat flow, you do this step here. So you need to add in that it will send it to team member and assign to no one. Okay. The notifications in HubSpot are based on the chat being unassigned. And I think sometimes if you just end the chat flow, it doesn't necessarily mark it as unassigned. So you need to have that assigned to and then assigned to no one to make sure that you then get that notification of it being an unassigned chat conversation. That should help. If the problem persists though after you've done that, I have seen some people where they've had to tweak some email settings and stuff through HubSpot support. So do reach out to them if that continues as well, because sometimes it's a bit of a glitch. But this action here, making sure it goes to assign to no one, and that there's a little message there to kind of close out the chat, that should help a lot with what you're looking for.
James has asked as well, would this where we have Goldmine as a CRM, which at the moment is not connected to HubSpot?
Yep, so this would still work to a degree. You still have HubSpot on the website. This would just mean that all of those leads went automatically into HubSpot, which all of your website leads do as well anyway. So yes, you would absolutely be able to have this set up. You would just have to manually recreate them in your other CRM, those conversations, which is what you do, James, with your other contacts at the moment anyway, I believe. So it's not going to automatically pass through to another CRM unless you have an integration there, but it shouldn't make a difference. Fantastic. Alrighty. So our next steps then this time, we have already got our webinar for next month planned. So our next one is going to be on Wednesday, the 19th of June. I know we're all over it this month at 10:30. And it's going to be all around how to use the new prospecting workspace. So this is a pretty new tool within HubSpot. It's part of Sales Hub. And it is a really great place for salespeople to go to really organize their flow of work for the day. It's a great place for managers to go to see what other people are doing within their team, that kind of thing. And really, it's going to help you increase your sales. So I will pop this link now in the chat here. And if you would like to kind of pre-sign up for that, please do. We will, of course, email out about it as usual. Make sure that you've all got that a little bit near the time, because I know June feels like a very long way away at the moment. But yeah, we'll be running that same time next month, and would love to see some of you there as well.
Absolutely. It's changed the way I do things. It's revolutionized me and my day-to-day life of trying to think whether I actually did I respond to that person. There's a great tool. We'll go through it next month, but there's a great tool that has a list of all the emails that you've received and not replied to. And honestly, it's
game changer.
Absolute game changer for me. So yeah, look forward to seeing you all next month then. All
yeah.
right.
Fantastic. I think we've just got one more question from James before we wrap up. Is around how would the notifications work if it wasn't connected to HubSpot? So it would work exactly the same. You would just get an email throw on it for that. Just to answer that final question there. Are there any other questions? I don't think we've missed any, have we?
I don't think so, no. Let me just double check.
No, I think that is everything. All
Brilliant.
right. We will wrap up pretty much on time then for today. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I hope you found that useful, and it's sparked some ideas of where you can use the chatbots.
Absolutely.
As always, if you want to discuss any of this in more detail with us, do reach out to us, book a meeting in with Andy, or reach out to us over email, and we can make sure that we're helping you where we can.
I've put my link in the chat again at the end in case it says everyone's scrolling up to the top. Yeah, so it's been A good session today, another good session next month. All right. And yeah, if you want to meet me, talk to me about anything, or Emma as well, just reach out. We can go through it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So yeah, brilliant. See you all next month
Thanks,
then.
everyone.
All
See you
right. Thanks
next
for your time
month.
today. Bye bye.
Bye.